Hello and welcome to Unity Christian High School for today's girls OK Black Conference basketball game between the Zeeland West Ducks and the Unity Christian Crusaders. And alongside me inside the booth, we'll do our usual pregame show brought to you by Healthcare Associates and Community Caregivers, Interspace Mini Storage, and GJ's Pizza Pub. It's Matt Fabiano. Matt, we got a good OK Black Conference basketball game. The first time that Uni's played Zeeland West in quite a long time, but Uni Christian coming off we saw them last time against Hudsonville, and that game was kind of one-sided in favor of the Eagles of Hudsonville. But tonight they face the Zeeland West Ducks, who have a record of 5-2, while Uni Christian has a 3-4 record. Got to look. Yep, 3-4, 5-2. Both are 0-1 in the OK Black. And we got a heck of a ball game here tonight between two close neighbors of Zeeland and Unity.
Yeah, should be a good contested game, and especially with Unity trying not to be swept by the Zeeland teams as they lost to Zeeland East.
Yes, they lost to Zeeland East on Friday. 44-32. Well, Holland Christian took care of Zeeland West in a close battle, 39-36, over at the Civic Center in beautiful downtown Holland, where the tulips are not up yet. Let's hope they're not, because we've had that at least last year we had the STEM Fest a little bit, but usually they get a little Holland tulips come up in the Tulip City. Bill Postma is the coach for Unity Christian, and Ryan Lane in his fourth season at the helm at Zeeland West. Last year the Ducks were 13-11, 9-5 from the OK Green, while Unity was 15-10, 7-7 from the OK Blue. And you look at average points per game there, Matt, and it's a close battle. It's 43.3 for Zeeland West and 43.0 for the Crusaders of Unity Christian, who has just left the floor. The Ducks are still warming up on the floor in front of us here.
Yeah, and so going off, points forward, it should really be a shootout in offensive sides, where Zeeland West is only allowing 37.7 points and Unity is allowing 42.6. So it should be a fairly close game, but you never know. And hopefully we get a good game tonight, unlike we had last time we saw Unity.
Yeah, we had a slow start there for Unity against Hudsonville, but Hudsonville just from the word, basically a tip, took care of that one. The boys are at Zeeland West tonight. We'll see those in just about a month. We'll see the Zeeland West boys, who are off to I think one of the worst starts in probably franchise history. They're 0-6. Well, Unity is 7-1 on a beautiful 7-1 start. Their only loss is to Hudsonville. Mm-hmm. So you kind of look at that game and benchmark it here for Zeeland West. They're a Class A school, kind of on the low side, and B is for Unity and Class B school. But how they do it is kind of geographic and kind of with student size, where Zeeland West has 986 students. Well, Unity has just a tick under 700 at 699.
Yeah, and we were kind of talking about the conference. Holland Christian, as we said, did beat Zeeland West, and they're at the top at 5-1 in the OK Black. Then there's Zeeland East at 6-2, Spring Lake 4-2, Zeeland West, as we said, 5-2, Unity Christian 3-4, Holland 2-5, and Hamilton 1-4. Yeah, which is a little surprising from Hamilton. Hamilton usually is kind of a middle of the road team, but seeing them at 1-4 is a little surprising.
Yep, and kind of surprising seeing Hamilton playing their first game here in the conference, because we only got 7 teams in the conference. Only 3 teams can play each other, so it leaves always one man out every night. But Zeeland West, Unity, and Holland are all 0-1, and Holland Christian, Zeeland East, and Spring Lake are 1-0 in the OK Black. so used to saying the OK, whatever, gold, or because it's football, we got to change our mindset to a different sport. But some other games of interest tonight. Hudsonville's playing Muskegon, 6-1. Hudsonville's taking on 6-0 Muskegon in the boys variety. We kind of mentioned Unity there, but Byron Center and Rockford. Byron Center 7-2, Rockford at 7-1. Another good battle there. Just looking through our papers here.
Grand Haven and St. Joseph.
Oh yeah, St. Joe. Grand Haven at 6-1. Usually they're sub 500 when they come to see Hudsonville. They're from the OK Black, the OK Red. Calvin Christian 3-5, Building 5-3 overall. And another surprise this year. I lost it right now. It's on the girls' side. Forest Hills Eastern does not have a team, a varsity team, but they have a freshman and JV team. So that's sad to see that you can't field a varsity team. And I can see why they don't want to field one. They don't want to hurt. The underclassmen don't want to get, you might be playing freshmen all year, but still you don't want to see that with a basketball team.
It sucks.
It's tough. It's tough. You see it in football a lot, but not in basketball.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that they don't have a varsity. And like you said, you'd be playing freshmen all year, but I mean, even if you could get some of those JV freshman players up to a varsity level and like inform a team from that, it's a gamble, but sometimes those lower classmen might come away better from playing varsity, early on. So
you get experience going forward the next couple of years as Uni has just taken the floor. Holland Christian tonight, the Battle of Holland. The north side, or the Battle of Holland, the wooden shoes are at stake in the OK Black. Holland's at 2-5 for the girls and 5-1, as we said, for the girls. But on the flip side, we got a heck of a ball game there. It's 5-3. Holland Christian, the Maroons, taking on the Dutch at the Dutch Dome tonight. 4-5 overall. Hamilton's taking on Zeeland East tonight. Spring Lake has the night off in the OK Black. In the OK Green, we mentioned Hudsonville and Muskegon. Mount Shores and Grandville play tonight, both at Grandville tonight. Byron Center, we mentioned Byron Center playing Rockford. Whitehall plays Reed's Puffer for the boys, and then Caledonia travels all the way down to Battle Creek and takes on Battle Creek Lakeview. OK Gold has Wyoming taking on Northview. Wyoming going over to Northview, home of the Wolves there. We're going to focus on tonight's game. We also like to say a huge congratulations goes out to the football coach over at Zeeland West High School, Mr. John Shillito, has officially hanged up his headset after 20 seasons over at Zeeland West. And we got to see Zeeland West in football, and we like to say a big, huge congratulations, and good luck in retirement there to head coach John Shillito.
Yeah, and I mean, 20 seasons, that's...
And 5 state championships.
Yeah, that's very impressive,
Wow.
Especially for how high school football in Michigan has really taken shape over these past few years, where it's gotten a lot more competitive. And, 20 seasons is nothing to
Shake
laugh
your head
at or be disappointed. And like you said, five state championships in 20 seasons. That's
his counterpart over here at Unity has just about as many seasons, but doesn't have that many state championships. He only has one in his pocket. That's head coach Craig Tibby here. Both good coaches know how to run the wing tee to perfection. I mean, not perfection, but they know how to run it. Kind of think of the good old days of. You don't usually see a wing tee football team.
And speaking of that, I mean, Zeeland West now could be running a different offense, and that would be really interesting to see come next season if they change that up.
Yeah, and it'd be and another huge thing is who their coach is going to be. Do they go within, or do they look out, search out, and that starts basically today, looking for a new head coach, because you got to get right on the road and get those kids right on the floor. As we're just about ready for the starting lineups, as they'll be in just a few moments. You're watching the Ville Sports Network and WCT-TV. We're ready for today's basketball game between the Ducks of Zeeland West and the Hudsonville Uni Christian Crusaders. First of all, for the Zeeland West Ducks, they go like this. Number 2, Sadie Kratt. Number 3, Jordan Clayson. Number 4, Hannah Strobe. Number 20, Samantha Knopple. And number 32, Georgia Kyers. For head coach, Ryan Lane, with assistants Biz Gertzma and Emily Kaneda. And Biz Gertzma used to play over at the home of the Lakers, the Granville State Lakers. It'll be for the Crusaders, it'll be number 5, Brooklyn Holtrop. Number 10, Edison Pell. Number 14, Makaro Bonde. Number 21, Ellen Kritzner. And right lineup for head coach Bill Postma, with his assistants Jeremy Voorhees and Brad Sauls. Number 30, Kate Vanderhill. This, we're just about ready to get the tip off. Matt Fabiano joins me in a rare Tuesday night double announcing duties. You'll hear him every once in a while. 8 minutes are on the clock, and we're just about ready to get this game underway. 10-minute drive to Zeeland West High School. They're just short of downtown. I've actually been to Zeeland West High School, and we're underway as the Ducks will win the tip and control the offense to start today's ball game. And I'd also like to thank the athletic director here at Unity Christian High School, Mr. Jeff Embers, as the shot is good for number 32 in Kyers. Zeeland West up by 2. The Crusaders have it. That's Pell. Pell looking to drive and should be awarded 2 shots. And he got the ball from Obande, and what a nice drive there by the Crusaders there, Matt.
Yeah, that was a great drive. Zeeland, on the other side of the court too, especially starting off with those 2 points. But yeah, that was a really good drive to get inside under the basket, draw the foul, and they had a chance to tie it up. First one was missed, but now make it a 1-point game, which would be kind of a weird score. But
you talk about a weird score. We seen that last week at Granville's deadlocked at 2 points. It was all on free throws.
Yeah.
Started the game with 2 free throws for Granville, and it was East Kentwood getting 2 free throws, and game was 2-2. And who would think that free throws would be taking taking the points, the first couple points. That's Pell over to Holtra.
Another weird score we saw was at the beginning of the season was when we were at Covenant Christian and Calvin Christian, where it was 16-16 at half.
7-7 at half, yeah.
Yeah, and we actually see Calvin Christian in a couple of weeks here, where they will face Fruitport.
The newcomer in the OK Silver. As Obande's shot is no good and be rebounded by Kyers. For the Zeeland West Ducks with 6:41 to go here in our first, and nice pass by Kyers over to number 4 in Hannah Strobe, and she'll be shooting too.
That's the kind of unselfish play you want to see, because Kyers easily could have made that open basket herself, but passed him right to her teammate.
Fouls on number 5, Brooklyn Holtrop, her first. Team first. And Hannah will be shooting one more. It's nice to see, getting to the free throw line and making your free throw shots, because it can come down to free throws. She's 1 for 2 from the line, and the Ducks are 1 for 2 from the line, and the Crusaders are 0-2. Kyers has it, gets it over to Clayson.
Great rebound from Zeeland under the basket there too.
Yep.
That's going to be a big key of it, and it's kind of something we've saw or have seen throughout the season.
Nice take by the Zeeland West Ducks. And Clayson, here comes Obande. Obande spin move, puts one up, and draws a little contact, but she gets the own rebound, and it's poked away by Zeeland West. By Kyers has it. 6 minutes to go. 3-0 is the score. Ducks on top. Nice selfish pass there. Inside for number 4 in Strobe and Crott. The tandem of Strobe and Crott on that basket. That was a nice give. Obande gets it up to Vanderhill. Back to Obande in the triple in the corner. No good. And look, nice box out there by Zeeland West to get the rebound.
I think Bande needed to take just a little more time with that
Patience.
shot. She had a clear shot, just threw it up a little bit too soon. And
talking about her, she picks up her first foul. Picks her first foul, and it's kind of I didn't do anything attitude there when if you saw down that was Kyers, no good. Georgia Kyers, number 32. Zeeland Weston, they're traveling forest green with Vegas gold. You got to mention that one because they're very specific in the colors. Unity's Christian is in their their home tradition navy, white with navy trim.
And Zeeland West has some really nice uniforms.
Easy to read too.
Yes.
I'm not going to mention names, but there is some schools out there. The foul up for the Ducks, no good. And Obande, good idea here to back it out, and she does back it out, but stolen right by the Zeeland West Duck defender there.
And Obande kind of showing a lack of hustle here. She got the ball stolen and then
slow it up. I mean, if you're in her situation there, you slow it up, let your team come back.
Yeah.
Unless you know it's going to be a good, basket, then take it. As the Zeeland West Ducks control the basketball with 4:20 to go.
They don't just control the ball; they've been controlling the game pretty well so far.
And the boards too. The boards have been all Zeeland West as Kyers goes up and she's fouled, and that's gonna be on Christner. I think it'll be her first, and the team's fourth. And another thing right now, Unity's got another foul tacked on, so that's team third. 2 more, and Zeeland West will be at the line, and Kyers is shooting 2.
With how Zeeland West has been, too, and like we said, with controlling the board and the rebounds, it's I think for Zeeland West so far, because in pregame we normally go over key to the games, but just kind of watching and as they're playing, the key to the game right now really for Zeeland West is rebounds.
Number 1 is rebounds, yes. Control the boards, as that one's not even close to for Kyers. She'll be subbed out by number 11, Haight. 6-0 is the score. Zeeland West on top with exactly 4 minutes to go here as Obande has it. Passes it over to Holtroff, over to Pell. Pell has it. Looking for somebody open. She'll find the lane. She'll drive, puts one up, and she's rewarded with 2 shots. And I like the play of Unity. They're going up for shots. Even though they're contested, they're still putting good shots up, and, the ball's just not going in. Let's see if Pell can put 2 in here for the Crusaders.
Yeah, I like how they are creating shots, and I like that they're not creating forced 3-pointers.
0 for 3 from the line of the Crusaders at start.
Rough start.
Those are almost giving points when the clock stopped.
But like I said, I like that they're not trying to create forced threes where you're just throwing it up and hoping for the best.
We're 1 for 4 from the line, and it's 6-1. Crusaders get on the board just a tick over halfway through the first quarter. The Zeeland West Ducks will control the basketball. That's number 1, Hendricks. That was Haight. Passes it off to Pratt, and Pratt's going to score 2.
Way to fight through, the contest and some of the contact there. That was as physical as you can get without having a foul called, and she was able to make her shot go in.
And that's going to go over to Zeeland West as the ball cannot be controlled by number 12, Lambers, for the Crusaders. And a lot of forced passes there for the Crusaders here, resulting in turnovers.
Turnovers are definitely the biggest issue here, and I mean, they're like we said, shooting wise, there is a struggle for the free throws, and nothing going in. But they're creating good shots.
The Van Dyken and Obande connection scores 2 points. 8-3.
You gotta love it. You say something, and as you say it happens, so people can see what you're talking about.
That was actually a good connection there from Van Dyken to Obande. She saw it, and here comes Pell with a breakout. 1 on 3, and Pell's going to put one up, no good, and it's 4 shots again are costing Unity. I think they just got to slow it up, set up their tempo, and run their plays. Because Zeeland West has just been haunting the boards and haunting. Oh, a nice defense there by number 40, Van Dyke, and to stop the play of number 33, Bergsma. And we're going to pick up a foul on number 14, Carl Bonde. That'll be her second, team fourth, and one more foul, and the Zeeland West Ducks will be at the line with 2:20 to go.
And I would say that has to go along with what you're saying, slow it up. Like, you were at 4 fouls in the first already. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, thankfully, because they started off with 3 pretty fast. Thankfully, they have slowed it on the fouls, but I mean, getting to 5 in the first just shows that you're playing anxious. Mm-hmm. If they get to 5, like you have to keep your head on your shoulders, keep a calm head, and just
Unity's having a little hard time pressuring from the Zeeland West Ducks, and that's gonna be a travel, and a nice call there by the back official. He had his eyes on the ball or eyes on the play, let the play develop, and then he called it. Because I first thought he was going to call a foul there for that, because she got a little contact in there. But Unity survives with a Zeeland West turnover. Minute and 50 to go, and I'm liking the play of the Unity there. They found, but now I don't like this. But I liked how they found the open girl. I mean, they did that like kind of cross-court, but I don't like cross-court passing, but I just like those kind of passes where, the player's open, you pass it to them, you find the next player, and it works itself up the court. Breaks that Zeeland West pressure.
Well, it just keeps with the theme that we've seen is the moment that they try to pick it up, that's when disaster strikes. Because they had a good thing going with those passes.
It's going to stay with the Zeeland West Ducks as it goes off of Holtra. 1:31 to go. It's 8-3. Ducks on top of the Crusaders by 5.
Because we were talking to a little bit with the officials on the travel that was called a little bit ago. I do like that these officials are letting them play, which is something you usually hear said about football, but they're letting them play. They're not calling ticky-tacky things. It's like there's got to be definitive contact.
Nice drive by Kyers, and she ends up with nothing on the board. Look at this. Fast play by Kyers, but Holtrop goes up, no good, and Van Dyken outstretched. I think if she would have been just a little bit taller, I think she would have had that rebound. Under a minute to go.
I'll give Kyers props for forcing that shot too, because I think she felt her breathing down her neck and coming up behind her that fast. And
Christner gets it for the Crusaders with 40 seconds to go. Breaks the pressure easily from the Zeeland West Ducks, and she'll have it. She'll pass it over to Holtra. Unity has 30 seconds to go. At least cut it within, 2-3 going into the first. As I say that, it's turnover. Shot is no good by the Zeeland West Ducks, and I think Zeeland West is kind of forcing shots up here late in the quarter.
That was a nice deflection of that pass. Unfortunately for Zeeland West, it didn't go to him, but
holds her up. Gets it over to Christner. Christner thought about it. She passes it out. And the triple try right near the end of the quarter. The end of the quarter is right there. Our first quarter score is the Zeeland West Ducks. And guess what I just forgot to do? We will get to that.
We forgot the scoreboard.
We'll do that right now. We will bring the Zeeland West Ducks scoreboard up. It's 8-3. That's what you get when you say you're going to do it yourself. Okay, we're at the end of the first quarter with the score of Zeeland West Ducks 8 and the Unicriston Crusaders 3. Not a slow start, but a bad start for the Crusaders. 3 for 4 from, nope, yeah, they're 1 for 4 from the line. They start the game off 0-3 from the free throw line, and only capitalizes on that, and that's kind of been one tail of the tape, but the other one is turnovers for the Crusaders.
And it's really, like we said, or have been saying, it's down to the speed of play. we saw it in Granville on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
The fast play only works if you are executing it correctly and limiting turnovers. Because East Kentwood kind of ran into that issue.
Yep.
And was like, because especially in the boys' game where they were playing fast and they were playing hard, but they were getting these turnovers. And it only works in certain situations, and that's where Unity is hitting that wall.
Unity starts with the basketball to start the second quarter. It's a triple try right out of the gate by number 21. Christner gets the score within 2. It's 8-6 now, Crusaders.
And that's what
only trail by 2.
And that's what they need to do. They need to get those shots open, but also like take their time like they did. Because that was a quick strike, but it wasn't forced.
Falls on Christner will be her second, team first of the second quarter as the fouls erase after each quarter. Because that would have been a daunting task for Unity if they were sending Zeeland West to the line already.
Mm-hmm.
Right here in the second is Kyers is no good on the first. She'll get one more. And she's over 2 from the line to start the second quarter. She's 1 for 3, I think, officially, or 1 for 4 from the line unofficially. That's going to stay with the Zeeland West Ducks.
I don't know about that one. I think that kind of went off.
I thought it went off the Zeeland West Duck player too, but they'll retain possession of the basketball. It's going to be stolen by Obande. Nice job there, but slowing it up there.
Yes.
By Obande. Looking for somebody open, finds number 5, Holtrup.
And this is what Unity needs to play at because it's working for them.
The pace of play right now is working. And I think that's one thing that Coach Bill Postma talked about in between quarters there is speed of play, and a layup there for the Zeeland West Ducks, number 4 in Strobe.
And I think I brought back to it a little bit ago. I think we're going to see kind of like I said what we saw on Friday, where one team is going to be playing fast and hard, and the other teams just got to let them play to them because the team playing fast and hard is going to wear themselves out eventually.
Yeah. And we kind of seen that in the start of the year too. We saw a slow start. It was 7-7 at halftime, but this one's not even on pace to be that, but it's just that slow starts can kill you in a basketball game, and that one actually ended up to be a 4-point win for Calvin, and it was a low-scoring game all the way through. Nice drive there by the Krat for the sophomore Krat for the Ducks, and Obande comes up empty on the other end, forcing their shots, not letting the ball come to them. As Kyers has it for the Zeeland West Ducks.
Nice no-look pass there.
I'm liking the passing here of Zeeland West. The shot's going to fall for number 3, Clayson. That's Clausen. That's what you don't get. You look at the name and then you got to. Obande has it for the Crusaders. It's 12-6.
3-point there. Nice 3-point from the Crusaders. 12-9. Good.
Pull it within 3 now with 5.5 to go. As Kyers is going to drive in and get a foul on Christner, and that's Christner's third.
That's Kyers' second time at the line for the
third time, I think.
Well, second for
in
the quarter.
And she's over 2 for the start the quarter. And actually it's on Obande. That'll be her third. I thought it was on it's on 21. But checking out in for the Crusaders will be number 12, Lambers, for Obande. 5:33 to go. Kyers hits the first of the pair. She is 1 for 4 from the line is Kyers. But look at this speed of the Crusaders. That's Christner. Holtrup the triple. No good. And the battle for the rebound is won by the Ducks. And the Ducks only have 4 players on their side as Kyers is coming up a little limp there. She only made it to half court.
That's
Scott
that's
is
going to be
in
something
for
to
Jack.
watch throughout the game,
Yep.
especially because she's been their kind of court general and been their one getting to the line and drive it in.
And I know what Coach Ryan Lane there wants a substitution, but Kyers is back into play, and you want a substitution when you know one of your players isn't up to 100%. But she's playing her heart out. As Kyers hits the triple, just like that.
Clearly not bothering her too much.
No. 18-9, 4.5 to go. And double dribble on the Crusaders, number 12 in Lambers.
And Kyers is finally going to get that substitution
That
out.
all need rest. The rest that little looked like it was on the defensive side, but she sure got back into play and hit that three-pointer. 4.5 to go. That's a double dribble on the Zeeland West Ducks. That's going to be on number 1 in Hendricks, a sophomore guard, 5'4". That's what I like about schools when they give you your height. So you can at least kind of match them up. That one's going to be almost a thrown away there for the Crusaders. As Christner regains it. Gets a screen from Holtrup. Back to Holtrup. 4:10 to go. That was a nice give and go, and it should stay with the Crusaders. Checking in for the Crusaders, number 20, Lanstra.
And that's kind of something else I've noticed with Unity is the passes haven't been completely accurate tonight. And it's not necessarily because they're playing too fast or too slow. It's just
kind of like that kind of play. You know, the defender gets right in the way at the right exact second. As that one is almost over in back call, and Zeeland West having a little hard time controlling the basketball. So a triple try is no good for Hendricks, and it's going to stay with the Zeeland West Ducks, I believe. 3:47 to go. Score remains 18-9. Ducks on top by 9 points. And it's going to go to the Crusaders after a referee's discussion. But they're doing a great job, referees. They're calling the plays down in the court. We're calling it from high in the sky, but it's hard to see. Maybe we see something different than they do. Holtrup barely escapes the Zeeland West defenders. Pell gets it over to Christner. That's Holtrup. Screen from number 40 in Van Dyken. If you're smart here, you got to post Van Dyken up right underneath. And they're letting her, and then we're going to get a foul on the Zeeland West Ducks, number 1, Hendricks. I'll be in team first, her second, and shooting 2 will be Holtrup, and that was a kind of a forced shot, but Holtrup drew contact.
It was great defense by Zeeland West as well. They were really shutting them down, and that's what made it the forced shot. Was you could see that there's a little bit of panic from the Crusaders there.
Holtrup goes 1 for 2 from the line and makes it 18-10.
Nice
now.
steal.
Yes, nice steal there. It was by number 20, Lanstra. She'll drive, put one up. It goes in and out, and the Zeeland West Ducks get the rebound. Just a tick under 3 minutes to go.
Even though she didn't get it to fall, though, that was a nice, smart shot as they move back down the field. There we go.
Nice steal, nice bucket, take and go for Berenson. And makes the score 18-12 now. Crusaders only down by 6. And the Zeeland West Ducks have not panicked. Unity's kind of picked up the pace a little bit.
That take and go might be the shot that Unity needs to get them to move up and make this a little more competitive. But they also keep taking the wins out of their own sails with these fouls.
Yep, fouls on Lanstra. That'll be her first. And the team third. 2.5 to go, and a nice steal. Back-to-back steals. Let's hope they're back-to-back buckets by Berenson. Look at that, back-to-back buckets, and draws it within 4. And Berenson on back-to-back steals, gets 2 layups and 4 points, and cuts the lead within 4. The pressure of the Community Christian Crusaders has stepped up in the last 2 minutes.
Berenson with another steal.
Wow. Right now, she's an early candidate for the DJ's Pizza steal of the game. As Holtrop hits the triple and pulls it within 1 with 1:45 to go.
And Unity's really
picked up the pace.
And it's changed. It's worked for them. Guys, that ball is poked away again.
And Pell has it. Pell puts one up, draws contact, and 1! And the Crusaders are back on top, right where they did not start. They have picked it up. And Clausen gets the foul, and the and 1 opportunity for the Crusaders in Pell. The 3-point play is good, and the Crusaders now lead by 2.
Their first lead.
It's been on back-to-back baskets by number 2 in Berenson, and then to get the and 1 opportunity, crawls them back on top. With 1:17 to go here in our first quarter. And Kyers is back on the court good to see her back on the court. It's a high arcing 3, no good, but Dyken tracks it down. Gets it over to Holtrop. She's in trouble. She finds number 2, Berenson. She finds a little room, but Kyers is right there. And it's going to be tipped around and picked up by the Zeeland West Ducks as we tick under the 1-minute mark.
You know, that was smart defense by Zeeland West, as Berenson these past few plays has been wreaking havoc. So they double team her, get her cornered, get the ball away from her.
Pratt scores, and it's 20-20 now. They're crawled right back into it after a 7-0 run by the Crusaders. Nice give and go, and nice basket for number 20 in Lanstra, and the Crusaders are now back up by 2.
And the Crusaders,
with 10 seconds to go.
Crusaders really doing kind of a lot of the play that we saw Zeeland West with early, with the fast-paced or just a lot of passes, getting the ball moving around.
Kyers has it, puts one up, and that's how we're going to end our first quarter, or our halftime, with a score. The Crusaders leading by 2, 22-20, and we'll go back inside the booth. And what a second quarter there by the Crusaders, and especially in the last 3 minutes. Because you get back-to-back steals by Berenson, back-to-back baskets by Berenson, and then you go up with Pell with the and 1 opportunity. That puts them up by 2. And then Zeeland West comes back with 2. And then Uni comes back with 2 from that. And they lead by 2 at halftime.
Yeah, and that, like I said, I think Berenson really gave them the shot in the arm that they needed. She lit that fire under their feet, and those were some 3 steals on 3 different possessions,
at least 2 that she scored on. Then she had another probably steal after that. But,
and even after that, when she wasn't scoring, I want to say she was the assist pass too.
Yep.
That's the type of player you need, is someone who's going to be in there, involved in every big moment, and they got to find someone to help her, but she really got in there and changed this game for Unity.
What's really changed the game is Uni's picked up the pace, and Zeeland West has kind of slowed down their pace just a little bit to try to match the Crusaders, and that's basically resulted in the Crusaders going to the locker room with a 2-point lead.
It's got the Ducks on their heels, unlike they were that first period, and I think the Crusaders are noticing that. And if I'm their coach in the locker room right now, I'm saying, keep them on their heels, keep them backpedaling, just start making them 4 shots like they were making you 4 shots.
And another thing is, ever since they quarter break in Coach Bill Postma as he's taken his coaching staff with him back to the locker room to talk to the girls. Ever since that, I think they stepped it up just a little bit, and they stepped it up even more as the quarter got along. Now can Unity hold that pace? Go in the locker room. Have to wait and see.
Another really interesting thing I've noticed, too, because we said that the only break they've had is the quarter break and now halftime, that both teams have chosen to keep their 5 timeouts.
Mm-hmm.
Usually you would see at least maybe one call in those first 2 periods, but they both got 5 for the rest of the game. We will see how those play into this game as we get closer to the end.
And another thing is the free throws were haunting Unity in that first quarter. They kind of didn't go to the line much in that second quarter, but, the opposite went for Zeeland West. They went to the line and couldn't hit the free throw, while Unity was hitting the free throw there. I think the only time that they really went to the line was when they had the and one opportunity there. So that's our halftime show brought to you by DJ's Pizza and Inner Space Money Storage. And last but not least, Healthcare Sales and Camera Caregivers. Will take a brief break. We'll join you for the second half in just a few moments. You're watching the Ville Sports Network. Welcome back inside the booth. We got about a minute to go until we commence our halftime festivities and our halftime lookout. Scoring right now unofficially is 6 points for Christner, both on 3-pointers. She leads the Crusaders. It's 7 for Kyers and 6 for Krat and 5 for Strobe. And the other 2 belong to Clayson. Crusaders on the back-to-back steals by Berenson, who has 4 points. Holtrup has 4 points. Pell has the N1 opportunity, and that put the Crusaders up by 2. She has 4, and then 2 apiece for Obande and Landstrup. The lead is on the screen, as you see, 22-20. The Crusaders up by 2 after 1 quarter of play. We thought we were going to have a low-scoring game. Jordan slides side to me, and to my right, or on the screen it looks opposite. So on the left is Matt Fabiano, and 8 minutes are on the clock, and the Zeeland West Ducks coming out of the locker room after have their wings clipped a little bit in that second quarter.
Yeah, Zeeland West really was controlling the game for most of the first, most of the second. Then those 2 steals happened and really put a fire under the Crusaders, and it looks like Zeeland's gonna start flapping those wings a little bit again as they start with a quick score here.
I actually had the wrong score on the scoreboard.
Well, Bonde responded with her own.
I had it 22-20 Zeeland West. It was the opposite way around. I'm sorry about that, guys. But it's 24-22 Crusaders as Obande gets the scoring going here in the third quarter and second half for the Crusaders. Zeeland West has their opportunity to draw it back within even as it goes off of the Ducks with 7:15 to go. That's Obande looking to get another one. The end one opportunity is good for Obande. And Strobe picks up her second. The end one opportunity for Obande. Chance for the Crusaders to go up 5. And she fails to put it in.
And Unity really coming out with that surge, that fire that we saw.
22. I'm trying to operate things, and things aren't going right, but we got it on the right path now. It's 26-22 Crusaders up by a 4 spot on the board, the largest lead for the Crusaders. Triple try to put them up. 7 is good by Pell. They found the open corner.
As I was saying, It really is. The Crusaders are coming out with that fire, as we talked about it a little bit at halftime, where neither team had used the timeout. That quick pace from Unity Christian now forcing the first timeout of the game, and it'll be interesting to see how a wounded duck recovers from this.
That was a good play in words there. You're starting to pick up my play in the words, but somebody's trying to steal that duck egg out there, and the Crusaders are doing it. As they take a Zeeland West timeout. They'll have 4 remaining. Our scoreboard says 3, but they have 4. Crusaders have 5 with 6:27 to go, and I think that was a much-needed timeout for Zeeland West. Unity's on a 7, or is up by 7. Their largest lead right now is 7. We're on a 6-2 scoring advantage here in the third, I believe. That's number 2 in Craig. To 3, Clayson with the basketball with 6 minutes to go. She'll drive the other side. She'll put one up, and good. It's 29-24, and that timeout helped the Zeeland West Ducks score 2 points. Obande has it with 6 minutes to go. Nice pass to number 30. I know who that is, too, and it's Vanderhill. And Zeeland West comes up empty, and nice give and go here by the Crusaders as Obande puts one up, and she's going to the line to shoot 2, and the foul's going to be on her number 20, Snapple Copenal. Yeah, try saying some of these names when you're trying to see them, but you can't say them.
Yes,
Obande goes to the line to shoot a pair.
Sometimes your brain and your tongue just don't work together.
I know what that feeling is. You've had that a couple times this year. Obande is unofficially 0 for 1, and she goes 1 for 2 from the line and makes the score 30-24. Crusaders up by 6.
And Unity, with how they've had this surge, they're really kind of in line to surpass what their scoring average-wise in 43. They're at 30 now in the third.
Mm-hmm.
Where I would say Zeeland West is about on line to score about average, maybe just under.
Yep.
With how they're playing right now, as they're playing on their heels. As you said, had their wings clipped a little bit going into half.
Kyers puts one up, no good. Backdoor rebound is good by the Zeeland West Ducks, and they'll retain possession, but then it's stolen right back by the Crusaders as Pell has it, and Kyers is going to foul Pell. That's kind of one of those fouls you cannot avoid. Going up the court, and you just bump the player going up the court. And that will be her first, and she's going to take a brief break on the bench. She took a brief one in that second quarter. She looked like she was a little bit sore coming up the court.
Yeah, and like we said in the second quarter, that's kind of going to be something to watch really the rest of the game because, like I said, she's been that driving force for Zeeland.
Copenal picks up her second two straight fouls there for Copenal, and Zeeland West is now in the hole in the foul department.
And it's like the roles have reversed. Really, they truly have. Unity that was struggling with their fouls those first 2, and now we're not even halfway through this third quarter, and Zeeland already has 4 fouls in their pocket here.
Nice job there by Vanderhill to put the basketball in the basket. Now this is the largest lead for the Crusaders at 8. 32-24. And it's going to be a turnover, and Van Dyken gets it. Vanderhill gets the loose ball. And nice job by Christner to put it in for 2. It's a 10-point lead now. Crusaders are, I don't know what Coach Bill Postma gave him to drink at halftime, but it must have been something good because they're on a roll right here in the third.
He gave them MJ's secret stuff from Space Jam.
4 minutes to go, and Ducks will be at the line to shoot 2. Vanderhill picks up her team first. I'll get, after Zeeland West gets 2 free throws, I'll get back to where my train of thought was going to go. Zeeland West is now unofficially 0 for 1 on the free throw line. Pair of substitutions, one for both teams. Just about halfway through the third quarter, and Zeeland West picks up a free throw. 34-25, 4 minutes to go, and this kind of reminds me of the state championship run for Unity Christian. They were down 32 at halftime as Obande drives, and she's rewarded 2 shots.
That's the 5th foul for the Ducks. And that's...
I was looking at the scoreboard, it said 2. I'm like, yeah, that's not right, but it's 5.
And that's not what you want to do by any means if you're Zeeland, because now you're in the bad chance of, if you foul them again, Unity goes right to the line automatically.
Especially with 3:51 to go here. Strobe picks up her 3rd foul, and Obande goes 2 for 2 from the line. And it's 36-21, 11-point lead now for the Crusaders. As Kyers checked in for Strobe.
You know, Bondi is kind of really picking up that role we saw her take on when the Crusaders went up against Hudsonville in the Salad City Classic. As she started slow in that game, and then she picked up the pace, and we're seeing that again in this game with the Crusaders as they started slow as a team there, and now they're just foot on the gas and not letting up.
And Zeeland West free throws have rolled themselves tonight. As Holtrop picks up her 2nd, she is at the line. Is the Zeeland West Duck in number 2. And Pratt, she'll score 1 of 2 from the line. Cut it to within 10. A nice long court pass, and you got to hit that if you're that wide open. That's number 12 in Lambers, and she was wide open.
That should have.
And it's going to go to the Crusaders.
Yeah, that should have been an easy 2 points.
Yep, a nice fast break there for the Crusaders who just couldn't capitalize with 3:20 to go. And Zeeland West has just picked up the defense as that one goes off of Kyers.
Looks like
But
Zeeland.
the offense hasn't stepped up yet.
Looks like they're going to be focusing on kind of a more of a double team for some of these players.
Yep.
Where
Coming up the court like that, you're going to double team, trying to force the turnover, and Obande goes into the land of trees, and she comes up empty. Zeeland West comes right back to and a nice play there. I thought there was going to be a foul called, and there is none forthcoming with just a tick under 3.
But that's what we said in the first.
It's the fast play of Uni now is caught in the Ducks in another mode, as they just picked up the pace with 2:40 to go, and it's kind of a switch over of that second quarter. This is when Uni took control,
and that's
took a lead. But when they took that lead, at about the same exact time.
That's what I've really noticed with this game is that they both start matching each other, and then it's like one team gets either too comfortable or they just get worn down and they take the foot off the gas, and it just, you got to play consistently if you want to win this game.
Vanderhill gets 2 points, and the assist will go to Holtrup, and we're going to get our second timeout for the Zeeland West Ducks. They'll have 3 remaining with 2:08 to go here in our third quarter play. It is the largest lead for the Crusaders at 12 now, 38-26.
Now, if I'm the Ducks, using 2 timeouts already in the third, I'm really careful here for the rest of the game. You know, yeah, you went into halftime with all 5, but now you got 3, and you got 6 minutes or 10 minutes left. Excuse me.
Yeah, just a little over 10 minutes to go, and another thing I think he's going to talk about is fouls here in this. Coach Ryan Lane is going to talk about fouls. We don't want to send Unity to the line anymore here in the third quarter, because once we get to the fourth quarter, it's a whole entirely different. We can afford them then in the fourth quarter.
But if you send them here, this is where things are going to get out of control. Neither team really shooting great free throws, but Unity has hit them when they're needed to be hit.
Mm-hmm.
And Zeeland West was kind of like that at the beginning, and then they fell off on that. It's like all the wheels on the car exploded, and that's really what Zeeland West has been doing, or has been run just on the rims.
Mm-hmm. You're watching and listening to the broadcast of the Ville Sports Network and WCT-TV as the Zeeland West Ducks get it back within 10. Crott for 2. Just a tick under 2 minutes to go. 38-20 is the score. And I think that's a much needed timeout there for Zeeland West, because they've scored right out of the timeouts both times they've taken a timeout. So Zeeland West will retain possession after the double dribble by Obande, and I don't know about that double dribble, but we're not an official, so we call it as we see it.
Mm-hmm. And with the timeout too, if Coach Lane, I think one thing he had to have said to his team too as well is drive inside, because that's what's working for Unity.
Mm-hmm.
And you see it working for the other team. Why not try it yourself? And that's kind of what they did on that score right off the timeout. And I would keep doing it. You make this a battle of the paint.
Ava Lanster picks up her second team foul, and her foul in the third team as a drive. And that's a nice drive there. And a little contact there was drawn by Vanderhill, but Obande has it. Obande's got to pass it off here. Quit being so selfish with the basketball and set it up with under a minute to go. All Unity has to do is set it up here. As Pell has it. And Pell is going to get bailed out with a backdoor foul on Kyers, I believe. I think that'll be Kyers' fourth.
I don't know about that one.
It's kind of a late call, too. Nope, it's their second. Team fifth, and Unity has a chance for it to get points here with the clock stopped.
Good thing that the officials are down there closer,
because announcers jinx. Because when it gets so quiet in here and the announcer talks, I call it the announcer's jinx. I always wait until the free throw's up and look see it worked. I call that the announcer's jinx almost. But they score one, 39-28, and I've noticed that they split the pair usually. If they miss the first, they usually get the second, because it's so quiet in here. In a normal game, you'd get a little louder because you have the fans behind the teams. Kyers is going to be fouled, and I think that's kind of a bailout shot as Lanster comes up a little limp.
And I didn't think of it that way, so I will have to keep that in mind.
It's Kyers. Let's see if the announcer's jinx sets in here, because all of a sudden it's going to get quiet, and we're going to get quiet. It didn't work that time. Usually when you talk during a free throw, it gets so quiet you can hear yourself talking. It kind of distracts. So we'll see if it works here for Kyers. If I continue to talk, looks like her foot is over the line, and it wasn't really announcer's jinx. I was trying to think of something. With 30 seconds to go, 39-28 is the score. The Crusaders have 11-point lead. Now make it 14 after the triple.
And that's the
largest lead for the Crusaders right now is 14. And they got 14 seconds to go here in our third. They got to get it across, and they get it across in the nick of time as Obande has it. She'll put one up, draw a little contact. The follow-up is also no good by Berenson, and that's how we'll end our third quarter of play with the Crusaders leading 42-28.
You know how I was talking about Unity being on par to be overscoring with average? They're now 1 point away from that. So
I think they're going to get their average unless something goes dementally bad for the Crusaders, but Zeeland West gives up 37 points, and that 37 points has been eclipsed. As Unity gives up 42 points, so they're under that here. Upcoming games, first of all, for the Zeeland West Ducks, they'll be facing their conference foes the next 2 games. There'll be some home cooking here at the Nest. The Hamilton Hawkeyes will try to invade it and steal some of the Ducks' eggs. And then the Lakers from Spring Lake come in on Tuesday. Uni Christian has a rare Thursday game here this week. They'll be going over to the land of the tulips. They're going to go to the Dutch Dome. And then they'll face the Wolves from Wyoming from the OK Gold. So they're going to go black and gold. And Uni will start with the basketball here to start our final quarter of play, as the score is 42-28. Ducks trail by 14.
And Unity just has to stay aggressive.
Yep.
Stay aggressive.
Stay with this mentality like you did in the third quarter, and they start off with a basket by number 2, Berenson. 44-28. They score right out of the gate. The Zeeland West Ducks are not even close to the rim on that one. Is a body to Berenson, and she somehow gets pushed out of bounds with no foul called. But she had to control. I mean, she gets that block by Kyers, and then Kyers gives her a little bump, and referee saw it. Looked like I thought she stayed in bounds with that one.
I'd say that was more of a foul than the one block that Kyers did get called on.
Yeah. Kind of a makeup call there, for Kyers. Is a give and go for the Ducks. Results in the basket for number 2 in Crot. Number 2. It's 44-30. Ducks trail by 14. It was a 16-point lead. It's the largest for the Crusaders. And it's a nice job there to get it over to Christner. Christner's in and out, and the Crusaders couldn't get the rebound. And the Crusaders going to let him come up the court, the Ducks.
And that was kind of on Obande. I mean, you had someone there, and she just kind of two people going for it.
I think it's the first time we could have had the hell ball all game.
It is. It absolutely
is.
It's
taken 8, 16, 24, 26 minutes to get one. That's how I did that 8, 16, 24 plus 2. 34. And that, I mean, usually you get a lot more tie-ups in a basketball game, and it changes the possession, the alternate possession. Zeeland West will retain with it. 44 is Kyers, no good on the three-point basket, and that one will go to the Crusaders.
And I think a big part, though, that kind of played into that being the first one is the amount of fouls we have seen.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if there was less fouls called in this game, then there would be a little bit more physical play, especially, again, from Zeeland West. But they want to be careful now, as they had the 5 that sent the Crusaders to the line twice for the bonus. And I think we're going to see these teams start to be more careful with that, and especially with timeouts now, as Unity uses their first timeout.
Yep, I think it's more of this timeout by head coach Bill Postman is more of a talk to you run your pace, don't let them run it, because they're starting to do that now. Zeeland West is starting to come out and run their own pace. You run what you want to run. Don't let them run your pace. Bill Postma is a long time. I mean, not long time, but he's been here a while as head coach of the Crusaders, while Ryan Lane's in his 4th season. I can tell you that he graduated from Unity, back back before or with somebody that's helping us tonight. And a lot of people probably know who that is. That's my brother. So that tells you how long, I mean, not necessarily how long he's been a coach, but how long he's been affiliate with Unity Christian High School. And his dad passed away. Well, it's been a while now, but his dad is a former principal here at Unity Christian High School. I had him as a principal, and that's been over 20 years ago when I've been in school. So I'm the old fart and the young bird in the booth is beside me as Kyers has it with 5:40 to go. Chance to pull the Ducks within 12, and just as I say that, they pull it within 12.
That was a nice bounce pass inside that for the open shot. You know, I would have probably made the bad decision of taking the contested shot because you at least have the chance to draw the contact, but good non-selfish pass.
I'm liking the double team in Zeeland West, but it results, and there was a foul, unless really didn't see the blatant call there. She tilted her head back a little bit, did Obande. Kyers picks up her third.
And Kyers showed a little unhappiness with that call. She's like, which
can see that.
I could see it, but she's lucky that she didn't pick up a technical on top of it.
And that was not the announcer's jinx, so she hits 2 for 2 from the line while we were talking. So Obande does. It's 46-32, a 14-point lead. Nice job there by Kyers to drive, and it's going to stay with the Zeeland West Ducks. Thanks to the help of Kyers. She pointed Zeeland West. Just about 5 minutes to go, 3 minutes, and the and one opportunity is going to be good for Kyers. Nice inbound there by the Zeeland West. Christner is going to pick up her third, team first for the Crusaders here in the fourth quarter. And Kyers is scored 3 points, and the end one is good. Cuts it down within 11. 46-35, just a tick under 5 minutes to go in our final quarter of play. Pell has it over to Obande, and I'm liking the defense here by Zeeland West, and it's almost resulted every time in a Uni Christian time turnover.
Yeah,
they're kind of coming to the top. They kind of do that double team, and there comes that double team. They leave one person open, and there's always one person open on the double team. And Obande does the Euro step in, and she scores 2.
And with that double team, if I'm Coach Postma, next time Unity has the ball, I'm calling a timeout because it's been working really well for Zeeland West, and Unity with the pass inside did find a way to kind of counteract it, but you can't always rely on having a person who's going to be able to make that move.
Turnover by the Zeeland West Ducks, and the Crusaders lead by 13, 48-35. And another thing is you don't want to be caught like they are on the outside. And nice pass to Christner, and Christner is good. The and one opportunity there for Christner. Nice give there to the far side, but there was nobody open where Christner was open. She drove and puts it in for 2. She's shooting the and one opportunity to put him up by 17 or 16. Oh, 17. See the Nelson's jinx there. So I was adding it and trying to say it at the same time. 50-35, 16-point lead. Kyers has it. She'll drive. She'll put one up, and no good is Kyers. And that's a turnover. Nope. It's going to be a turnover for the Crusaders.
Almost saw our second tie ball.
I thought it was going to be saved there by Obande. It was just a miscommunication there by the Crusaders. Now the Zeeland West Ducks have a chance to pull it within 13 or 12.
But the Crusaders' defense has really stepped up for them as well, as they are guarding the inside, and I say it as they score on the inside.
And
but
nice job there by Zeeland West to take the timeout as they get down by 13 now. And that's a good timeout, I think, there by the head coach, Ryan Lane, as they have 2 timeouts remaining.
We'll see how.
Because I don't think Zeeland West is going to go away pretty easy here in the final 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I think they're going to play their heart out. And as we saw during the JV basketball game, as Zeeland West was only down 8 points, and we said this is going to be a long, Zeeland West might just come back here. Mm-hmm. And opposite happened, but I think Zeeland West is up to something here.
Mm-hmm. And I would agree with that. I think because Zeeland West did start up fast. They started out playing fast and, focused on this Crusaders game and this Crusaders team. And then that second period happened, and it was a quick switch. And it's been that way ever since. But it feels something in the air of this game with the timeouts and what's happened after these timeouts called by Zeeland West.
Our next broadcast will be on Friday at the home of the Bulldogs, the Granville Bulldogs, that is. We'll be taking on the West Ottawa Panthers. As Obande comes up empty, and I think that was a forced shot there by Obande. Zeeland West looking to counter that with a basket, but they cannot score on the other end. With 3 minutes to go, it's 50-37 Crusaders.
They didn't counter it with points, but they countered it with their own forced shot.
And there's a steal by the Zeeland West Ducks. That took nearly 10 seconds off the clock. And I'm liking the hustle play there of number 2 for the Zeeland West Ducks. She has not given up. And she's rewarded with 2 shots here. That's Vanderhill's going to pick up her second, team second. Chance to pull it within 11, 11. Haight checks in for the Ducks. As at the line is number 2, the sophomore guard. And she's 2 for 2 from the line. And results in an 11-point lead for the Crusaders. You have 5 seconds to get in, and they just squeak it in there, do the Crusaders. This is where Zeeland West has to step up, and they did not step up yet on their defensive side because they let Crusaders get away with it. That's on the tie-up. That's our second tied-up basketball. It's going to favor the Crusaders this time.
I think if we do see with Zeeland's defense stepping up, we're going to see it more on inbounds here as we saw there. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to try to force that 5 seconds more than anything.
Yeah, so Bonde gets it in. They got it in with plenty of time there to the Crusaders. Now it's more of a cat and mouse game, I think, as Obande puts it in. And I like how Zeeland West did that. They did not foul. They let her take the shot. So Bonde puts it in for 2. They did not put their hands in the cookie jar, as we like to say, at the Mother Hubbard. As Zeeland West gets a basket by number 4 in Strobe.
That will bring it back to 11.
They're just basically trading baskets right now.
And it is that fight that Zeeland West has in them.
Yep. It's been basically all of Unity in the third, and that's kind of a forced play there by the Crusaders, but they result in no turnover there. That's number 5, Holtrup with the basketball. 1:45 to go here in our final quarter play with a 9-point lead. The largest lead was 17 at one time during the ball game. I like how they're playing a little cat and mouse game. The Crusaders, Obande hits the triple and silences the announcer on that one. 55-41.
That's, and I would say that's got to ice it for him.
Just about puts the game on ice, but still it's about a 4 to 5 possession game. As that one's going to stay with the Zeeland West Ducks. I won't be surprised that Coach Ryan Lane will call timeout here if Zeeland West gets a basket. As Kyers goes up, Kyers is no good, and the loose rebound is won by Obande, but it's going to go right off her shoelaces, right to the Zeeland West Ducks player with 1 minute to go. And Kyers is going to line to shoot 2.
And it looks.
And just as I say that, what do the Crusaders do? They empty their bench.
Full switch.
And that's a smart idea there by Coach Bill Postman. It's a comfortable lead, but not a huge comfortable. Kyers misses the first part of her free throws. The whole bench of Crusaders comes up. It's Kyers just go 1 for 2 from the line. Split the pair. And it's not that's an announcer's jinx. 55-41, and it's going to go to the Crusaders.
You could say a whole battalion of Crusaders came in.
Yeah. It's just like when they talk about, we'll get to this later, but when the ball game is about, it's over. That one's going to go airmail, and it's going to go to the Zeeland West Ducks. A bad play there by the Crusaders. Trying to go pass over the head. You pass low because nobody's going to get your feet. As I always say in basketball, if you're a tall, just say, and during boys basketball, as Zeeland West gets a basket. Clausen. If you're a tall, on the boys basketball team, if you're tall, you hold above your head because nobody else can get it. If you're a girl, you hold down by your ankles because nobody's going to get it. It's going to stay with Zeeland West with 30 seconds to go. 12-point lead. Still comfortable for the Crusaders. It's a 4-drive advantage here by the Crusaders. Kind of a, what do I do with the basketball there for Zeeland West? Number 3, she stood there, had to think. That one's going to be foul on the Crusaders. That'll be team at 5. Or is that 4? Sometimes the shooting 2 will be none other than Kyers. And I think that's a good idea there by the Crusaders.
She has struggled with her.
That's a good idea there.
Absolutely.
Now Uni takes the timeout. They'll have 3 remaining.
If I'm Unity, and I mean you got the lead, so it wouldn't.
It doesn't hurt you.
Yeah, I mean fouling as the leading team makes no sense, but it doesn't hurt.
But it doesn't hurt. But Zeeland West is going to want you to foul. As they're comfortably ahead, and that was a good idea, as we said, to foul Kyers and put Kyers at the line, because in this fourth quarter, I think she's hit maybe 1 or 2 of 6. So, I mean, we'll get our unofficial final tallies at the end of the ball game, done by our other scoreboard operator. Zeeland West has commenced their timeout. And I think it was a good timeout by Coach Bill Postman to set something up here with 20 seconds to go. I think he's telling them, don't force the ball. Just get it over half court and let them foul you. Because they're going to have to foul you if they want to get back in that ball game. The Zeeland West, 43. The Crusaders, 55. Must be a huge win for the Crusaders after the slow start they had. Kyers is 1 for 1. We'll say 1 for 1. Nobody's there in the lane. But it's 50-44, 55-44.
And
Uni's.
I would have just kept it outside.
Yep. I was just going to mention that as we get down to nearly 5 seconds to go. And I don't know what Zeeland West is doing and backing it out here. Because they're I think it's just more to dribble the clock out and let the game get over with. So, that is our final score. The Zeeland West Ducks will fall. Their record will fall to 5-3, 0-2 in the conference, while Unity will go to even 4 or even 500 at 4-4, 1-1 in the OK Black. Our unofficial scoring we'll get here in a moment. But I think we can possibly name our player of the game. But I think my player of the game kind of ends up with number 2 for the Crusaders in Berenson, who had those 2 steals and those 2 baskets in that third quarter and got them to the lead, which was really short, but it was a good lead that they held throughout that third and fourth quarters.
I say mine is a split between Obande and Berenson.
Yep,
Both.
Berenson on the defensive side and Obande on the offensive side.
Yeah,
But you can also pitch in Christner in there. She had 10 points tonight for the Crusaders.
Yeah, Berenson's 2 steals really did just light that fire for this Crusaders team.
Because that's when Uni kind of they had a 2-point lead going into halftime, but it wasn't that one. It was the Pell and one opportunity that put them up at halftime. But that's when Uni kind of took control of that ball game. It was in the second quarter of about 3 minutes to go, I think. But Zeeland West was led by 16 from Kratt, 11 from Kyers, 9 from Strobe, and 8 for Clayson. And for the victorious Crusaders, it was 2 for Lanstra, 4 apiece for Holtrup and Vanderhill, 9 for Berenson, 8 for Pell, 10 for Christner, and leading the Crusaders with 16 in the second half. Obande with 18. I had to think what I was going to say there for a moment, but yeah, it was a hard-fought basketball game, but eventually the Crusaders took this one and move on to face the Holland Dutch on Thursday.
Yeah, you know, that's a heck of a turnaround to go from 2 points to 16 on the game, and that's
that just tells you what Zeeland West did in that first half and what they didn't do in the second half.
And I kind of referenced it too when we were at the Salad Bowl Classic.
We just had an update from the boys' game. We'll get to that here shortly.
And I kind of referenced it when I was talking about the Salad Bowl Classic between Unity and Hudsonville, was the fact that Obande really comes alive in the second half of the game.
Okay, yeah.
And that's what we saw again today, because it's like these teams know that they got to lock her down, and they start locking her down. And once they've done that, they get too comfortable in doing it. And they're like, oh, we got her under control, we're fine. And then
she goes in a whole entirely different gear and basically takes the team on her hands. And as we always say, there's always got to be one other player. And tonight there was 2 players that kind of helped out with Obande for the tandem of 3. Final from the boys' game. Zeeland West falls to the Crusaders 68-24, and Zeeland West falls to 0-7.
It's just unfortunate.
Speechless.
It's an unfortunate thing, and that 24 points to 68.
That's a big margin.
And
that's a 26 or 36 point. Yeah, 36 points. Just wait. No. 44 points. It was just a running clock.
And we saw how good the Unity Christian boys were earlier this season, but to just dominate a team like that, and going into that game, the boys of Zeeland West were winless, but you don't
not favored,
but you don't expect them to get just demolished.
So, once again, that final score was the Crusaders 55 and the Zeeland West Ducks 44. So for Matt Fabiano and yours truly from the Ville Sports Network and the WCT TV Sports.